Question number 13 on the retest review. Convert this equation to standard form by distributing. We just did this same thing in question number 12. This is your practice problem to make sure you can do this accurately. Let's go ahead and write y equals in our answer blank because we know we're going to write it in standard form. We want to write it as an equation. Alright, let's rewrite our equation. Negative 4 times x plus 6 times x plus 3. Again, just noting class, the biggest mistake in this problem is to forget to distribute the negative 4 to both terms. You can't just make a negative 4x plus 6. The negative 4 has to distribute to both terms, and we end up with negative 4x minus 24. Now we bring our other binomial down, and now we can go through the process of combining or multiplying together two binomials. Let me change colors here. Alright, we take the first term of the first binomial, negative 4x. That's going to multiply by the second binomial, and then we distribute the negative 24 to the second binomial. And now let's go ahead and multiply monomial times binomial. Negative 4x times x is negative 4x squared. Thought I changed colors there. Let's try that again. We've got negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. We've got an x. Negative 24 times x is negative 24x. And negative 24 times 3, let's do that. Negative 24 times 3 equals negative 72. Alright? Remember, you'll always have the middle two terms that are like terms. If they aren't, you made a mistake. They'll both have a variable with an exponent of 1 in them. We can combine those terms together. So you've got negative 4x squared, negative 12 minus 24. Put it in your calculator if you cannot do that reliably. Let's bring that up here. Negative 12 minus 24 equals negative 36. So negative 36x minus 72. Looks like we are finished. Let's write it in our answer blank. Negative 4x squared minus 36x minus 72. Alright, next one. Solve this equation by factoring. Well, it's the same steps as normal factoring. The only difference is we're not going to write our answer in coordinate notation. We're just going to write down the two values of x that make this equation true. Let's take a look at our first equation. I'm going to rewrite it x squared minus 2x. And remember, class, we have to bring the c term back to the left side, or back with the a and the b terms. When we do that, positive 15 now becomes negative 15. You must have your equation equal to 0 before you can use factoring. Let's take a look at our GCF. Oh, a value is 1. That means our GCF is 1. A is positive, which means we don't have to do anything with our GCF. I'll just put a line through it. That means we can identify A, B, and C and start factoring. A equals 1, B equals negative 2, C equals negative 15. By the way, since A is 1, we get to use our shortcut, which saves us lots of time. A times C, 1 times negative 15 is negative 15. B is negative 2. Let's take a look at our combinations. 1 and 15, no. 2 does not go into 15. 3 goes into 15 5 times. That looks good. 5 minus 3 is positive 2. No good. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. That's what we want. And because a equals 1, we can just write our final factored form, which is x plus 3 and x minus 5. Remember, we're trying to find the x-intercepts for our solutions. That means our equation is going to be equal to 0. X plus 3 equals 0. That means x equals negative 3. And what makes x minus 5 equal to 0? That is x equals 5. So our solutions are negative 3 and positive 5. Let's do the next one. Factor. All right, we're factoring. You got to get the a, b, and c term on the same side of the equal sign. So we've got x squared minus 10x. This is negative 24. That means it's going to change to positive 24. Now the right side is 0, so we can go ahead and continue with our factoring. Let's take a look at our GCF. Well, our a value equals 1. Cool. And our a value is positive. I can ignore the GCF. Let's find a, b, and c. Now our a value is positive 1. Great, we can use the shortcut again. Let's make our combination table. A times c is 24. B is negative 10. Let's go through our combinations. 1 times 24, no good. 2 times 12. Now, be careful. That looks good, class. But if you do 2 minus 12, that's negative 10, but 2 times negative 12 is negative 24. That is no good. 3 times 8, no good. 4 times 6, okay, we're good again. Now take a look. Negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24, and negative 4 minus 6 is negative 10. There is our combination. That's an easy one to make a mistake and think it's 2 and 12. Well, because a is 1, we can actually write our factored form. Love to use the shortcut. X minus 4 times x minus 6 equals 0. To find our x values, we got to figure out what changes the first binomial to 0, what changes the second binomial to 0. This is going to be 4, and this is going to be 6. So our answers are, our solutions are 4 and 6. Those are the two numbers that make this equation true. I guess I could just write this x equals and x equals. All right, number 16. Solve this equation by factoring. Let's write the equation out. 4x squared plus 4x. I've got to move the c term over to the a and b term in order to factor. Positive 24 becomes negative 24 when I move it to the other side of the equal sign. And now my equation equals 0. Let's look at a GCF. I'm going to start with the smallest number, 4. 4 goes into 4. 4 goes into 24 6 times. That means our GCF is 4. Our a value is positive, so I can just leave it as positive 4. Let's pull that GCF out. So we're going to pull out the 4, and we're left with x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Let's check our work. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. Looking good. Let's go ahead and identify our new a, b, and c values. So class, I want to show you, even though a started off as 4, because a equals 1 now, we get to use our shortcut. Just don't forget to keep this GCF in the final solution. All right, let's make our combination table. A times 6 is negative 6. Sorry, 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. That's a times c. B is 1. 1 and 6, no good. 2 and 3, looking good. 3 minus 2 is positive 1. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. We can go right to our solution. Don't forget again, this 4 has to be brought down and put in our final equation. So I've got 4 times x minus 2, that came from my combo, and x plus 3. Remember, that equation still equals 0. Let's find our x values. Now, some of you want to put this 4 back inside here to find the x-intercepts. No, no, no. Once you pull the GCF out, you leave it out. That's why you pulled it out. We don't want to look at that. We can just take a look at the binomials. What changes x minus 2 to 0? What changes x plus 3 to 0? Well, this one, x equals positive 2. This is x equals negative 3. And our solutions are negative 3, positive 2. We'll pick up question number 17 on the next video.